You're listening to Entrepreneur's Enigma, a podcast about the ups and downs of the entrepreneurial journey. Every week, your host Seth Goldstein interviews entrepreneurs from all walks of life about their entrepreneurial journeys. From store owners to Fortune 500 CEOs, we all have stories to tell. So sit back and join us for the next 20 or so minutes while we explore the entrepreneurial world.
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of the Entrepreneur's Enigma podcast. I am, as always, your host, Seth with Podcast Mastery and Goldstein Media. Today I have Bofta Yimam. Close.
You got it. I was just ready to keep going. You got it. Yes.
I always, people with names that are not as easy as mine, I always get nervous. But former journalist, always afraid to say it wrong. So anyhow, Bofta is a powerhouse speaker, coach, entrepreneur, and Emmy award-winning journalist. So we have celebrity here, who helps large audiences and her private clients uncover the golden stories that will inspire, impact, and create change. She is the first Ethiopian-American newscaster to receive an Emmy award. So trailblazing too. So there you go.
Thank you.
She's on a mission to challenge people to explore their experiences so that they can tell their own stories, lean into their power, and communicate their expertise, allowing them to win in business and in life. So that's awesome. How you doing?
I'm good. The sun is out, after...
It's cold, though.
It is cold, but the sun helps. And after this winter in Maryland, it is...
I know you're in Maryland, yeah. Oh, yeah, you guys are slaying more than Philly, even, which is very bizarre.
We had so much snow. It was just... I'm ready for any kind of sun.
Yeah, you had like 3 or 4 feet sometimes. Whereas I'm in Doylestown, just north of Philly, and we had 2 feet at one point, which was not pleasant, but... Yeah. No, I love how everything always goes to the weather. I love it.
I know. So when people are like, "Are you doing?" I'm like, "Yes, it's sunny outside."
It's sunny outside. It's warming up, and that's all we can ask for. So
exactly. So
you are the first Ethiopian-American Emmy Award winner. That's pretty wild.
Thank you.
What'd you get that for? What? Because you've done a lot. You've done that you worked at the BBC, CBS, a bunch of different places.
So I've appeared on BBC. I've worked for CBS and NBC. That was for a story that I did. It was actually a series, like a continuing series that we did in Memphis when I worked in Memphis, Tennessee, for WHBQ. And what we really did there with the photographer was, there was a young woman who had been through a horrific tragedy, and we helped close, along with her, of course, because she was instrumental in this and sharing her story, and a lawmaker who got word of what we were doing, but helped close the loophole on convicted rapists getting out early. And so it was a 3-part series that we did, and like I said, I credit her, because if she didn't tell her story, it would probably not have happened.
Exactly. It ends with the journalist telling the story, but it's always the source has a big part in the play. Exactly. But that's awesome. Yeah. And then that's so you have, I'm sure you have the Emmy displayed nicely somewhere in the house.
Yeah, it's in the house. I'm in my dining room area because I don't know about you, but I like to shift around my house because I oftentimes work from home. So I'm like, okay, well, for this month I'm in my dining room, but it's in my office.
It's good, and it's also heavy from what I hear. So it's good protection.
It's not something. It's good protection, and it's not something that I carry around. It's
definitely pocket sized. Not exactly.
No.
So
exactly.
All right. So like myself, you're a recovering journalist. Because you can be a journalist.
I still pop in. I still pop in. I still do pop in. Yeah, I sometimes appear on NBC. So I still pop in, and I'm right outside of DC, so it's.
So you can literally pop
the nation's capital.
You can literally.
Yeah, so I contract. I literally pop in. So I contract. Sometimes I'm full time in my business, so it's a juggling act, and you have other responsibilities. But so sometimes I do pop in. Yeah. So I think, for me, I do enjoy pieces of it. And I think like many, the grind is tough sometimes once you have other responsibilities and a family.
6 years doing the grind, it killed me. 6 years.
Yeah, you did
Oh,
print or
I
were you
did
broadcast or
print.
you?
I
Yeah,
did print back when there was actually a print to be had.
yeah. There's
I
still
mean,
print.
like,
Still
literally
print.
the news rollers in the
Changed.
newsroom, was right above the
Yeah.
print. Like, so when the presses would start, the whole place would shake,
Mm,
and the smell of the ink
hilarious.
in the mornings.
Hilarious.
Oh, I'll never forget that smell. I loved it. I
Where
overdid
were
it.
you? Where were
I
you?
was I was at the local paper in Bucks County and New Jersey, the regional paper here, and now in
Got
South
it.
Central Pennsylvania, where there's more
Got
cows
it.
than humans. But you'd be surprised the kind of stories you'd find out there. Like,
Well,
like
right. I
I mean,
mean,
the
animals.
silliest
Hello.
ones too. I did one on a donkey or a horse that could do arithmetic. That's when I knew I made it. With its paw, it could do arithmetic. And
That's
I'm like, hey,
hilarious.
you
Yeah.
get the good and the bad with journalism, exactly. So,
Yeah, you do.
so,
You do
so,
get to get your feet wet.
yeah, so
Boots on the
when did
ground.
you step out of the full time limelight of Play
Yeah,
Powers to
yeah.
recovering? Because you're not fully recovered yet. So,
Yeah, I mean, I still dip my toe in it. So, I left formally in 2018,
oh,
and
so you avoid the
20,
pandemic a little bit.
yeah, I who knew that was happening, right? So I
Yeah,
I
who
did
knew?
2018, and then popped back in around 2021 for a startup. Came back out like a year later. They burned to the
Yeah,
ground, literally.
they
They
didn't
filed
do it. Yeah,
bankruptcy. But they tried. We'll give them that, BNC.
yeah.
And then yeah, been full time since then. And a lot of entrepreneurs need help with their messaging, particularly
Oh my God,
nonprofits.
yeah.
The messaging and look, ChatGPT can help, but you still need discernment with
Oh my
that
God,
even.
that's an understatement, my friend. That's an understatement.
Yeah, yeah, and like I don't know when I interviewed a lot of entrepreneurs, nonprofits, people doing fundraisers, all the whole nine. When you're a journalist, you get to meet. What's cool is you get to meet a lot of different people doing different things, right?
Yeah.
So you learn a lot about things, and telling me their message was always a struggle. Pretty
Oh,
much 8 out of 10 struggled with being able to communicate their message and to
it's
do it in a
tough.
really
Yeah.
succinct way. It's tough. And it's tough if you're
And a
evolving.
succinct
It's
way. That
tough
you're missing. You're
in a
glossing over that.
succinct,
A succinct
yeah,
way.
yeah,
They either
succinct
can't
way.
do it
They
at
could do
all.
it. It would take like
No, they
20
either
minutes,
can't do it
I'm
at
like,
all,
well, so what do you
and then
do?
they're in trouble,
Yeah,
or they can do it and they just ramble.
yeah. Oh, yeah, and no one at the end knows, like, your job as a journalist is to be able to communicate what exactly it is. So then at the end, you're like, wait, could you tell me exactly what you do? So it's still lost out there. Well, what exactly do you help with? And so, many entrepreneurs need help with creating their compelling story and the confidence, right? The confidence to be visible and to step out. And so we've been working with entrepreneurs for a while now on that, on the messaging and on their visibility on places like LinkedIn, where, I mean, I just had a client text me the other day and said, a friend of a friend saw a post and boom, 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 boom of a client we were working with, and then they signed a contract, right? And so you just don't know where it's going to come from always. And I think a lot of people are like, what are the impressions and what are the on LinkedIn? It's
And now
different.
you can't. And now you
It's
can't.
different.
Yeah.
LinkedIn is different. People lurk a lot and they're not always jumping in and going to comment, yes, I'm in. It's not Facebook and IG in that way. It's really different.
Yeah.
So LinkedIn is about showing up consistently. LinkedIn is about thought leadership. It's about making sure that you are visible on a regular basis in a way that's authentic to your brand, adding a
Mm-hmm.
little personality. And so now everyone's starting to
Yeah.
sound like ChatGPT. And so
Yeah. Or
it's
LinkedIn
a it's
AI.
our LinkedIn AI. And so everyone's like,
Oh,
I want
it's
the
worse.
quick, fast path. And the reality is that marketing is a churn, right? It's just, you just consistently show up, and then people reach out and you're like, oh, why did that happen? It's because you've been showing up for a year. So
Yeah.
there you go.
It's the long tail, as they
Yeah,
say in SEO. It's the long tail.
exactly. Exactly.
We're going to take a quick break, hear from our sponsors, and get right back to the show. It's
Exactly.
tough. It
Exactly. It's a
is.
long tail.
So,
Mm-hmm.
as a journalist, you're kind of given some autonomy to kind of find your stories. I mean, yeah, there's always like, go cover this. But like, so
Yeah.
there's some. I always felt like there was some sense of entrepreneurship a little bit in the journalism space. But now you're on
That's a
your
good point.
own,
Yeah.
and I mean, you call the shots.
Yeah.
The bookends. the buck stops with you. What is
Yeah.
the best thing about being an entrepreneur versus being a journalist kind of intrapreneur, I would say?
Yeah. I never thought of it the way you just described it, but I think there's truth in that. You do get to find stories that resonate with you and be able to go chase those down. Um, and so you are in your own world, right? So
Yeah.
I do, and at one point I was carrying my own camera when I first started in journalism, and I was like they call it a one man band. You're carrying your own camera, your
I did that
tripod.
too. I
Yeah,
have a
yeah,
tripod. I had a point and shoot. Just in
yeah.
case I got to an accident scene before the photographer, I could at least get a
Oh,
shot or
did you?
two.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so we, those first couple of gigs, that's what I was doing before I had a videographer with me and, like a partner in it. So you're right, there is an autonomy, which is beautiful. Um,
And scary.
I think,
And
and
scary.
scary, and scary.
Yeah.
I think with being an entrepreneur, it's the best thing about it is that you do get to everything you're accountable for. It goes really well, it's you. Great
Yeah.
job. Pat yourself on the back. It's not going so well, you got to look at how am I handling my accounting? How am I being disciplined every day? How am I really shaping my mindset? So there's a lot, I think, just more factors because you're bringing in your own income. And then you have other people who, if you have a team like we do, who, I'm responsible for and making sure that they get paid, right? So I think there's so much more responsibility in that regard.
Oh my
Journalism
God.
has its own level of responsibility in making sure you're telling this daily churn of accurate, compelling storytelling, right? And
And
then
spelling people's
the
names right
responsibility
too.
of right, and then the follow up the next day, and then making sure you're keeping the miner's name out, like all of these
Oh,
nuances
yeah.
that go with that you could mess up on, right? Like if you're not
Yeah,
paying
fighting with
attention.
HIPAA. I hate HIPAA.
HIPAA,
Is the person alive? Can you just tell me, is the person still
yeah.
freaking alive? I haven't even know
Open
anything else.
records, yeah.
Alive? Alive.
Open
Yes or
records,
no?
all
Yeah.
those things, right? Is he alive, right? And then that's when you lean on, right, family to tell you. Usually the family's
Yeah.
like,
Then
okay,
you call up and say,
we'll
is he
tell the
alive?
media.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
always so hard because if he isn't alive, then there's crying, and then you go, then honestly, your counseling, at least my counseling, was doing the obituary the next day. Well, that was always fun.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. I think being a journalist
Yeah.
is tough. It's even tougher now, I think,
Oh
just
God.
because everyone's against you in a sense. Not everyone, but a lot. It's
You
not
thought they
like
were bad when we were
before
journalists.
you're regarded, but now it's like
And
it's
I
tough
actually think
depending on
back when
where
I
you
was,
are.
yeah,
Let me say this.
yeah,
Depending on where you are in the country,
true.
there's that will be careful how I say it. Where you are in the country may determine how you're treated, for sure.
Exactly. Journalists were always regarded down with lawyers. Now they're like even worse than lawyers, and I'm like, what?
I think they were more regarded than lawyers at one point in time. I
At
think they
one
were
point,
more esteemed. I think
yeah.
they were regarded by the majority of the public more esteemed. I think just, I mean, when you had more of the tabloids come, then you had cable and news 24/7. I mean, we could go down like a whole funnel of things that have happened to the industry. Um, let's be honest, it's just a different landscape. So it's
Yeah,
harder for
it's not
people to
Edward R.
trust.
Murrow. Yeah, it's not Walter Cronkite anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think it's just a different, and for a number of reasons, right? I think for a number of reasons. I've always said that, getting into journalism, the amount of money, your salary is so low, and then you want cream of the crop people. And so unless you have kind of an elitist background in the sense where you have a lot of financial support from family, a lot of times the person is going to burn out because it's they're taking on a job that's very demanding for very low wages. And we never talk about the money piece, particularly in diversity. So if you want more diverse pool of people, and I don't mean just skin color, I mean everything,
Yeah,
everything, gender, everything, then you have to look at also the money. And we never talk about that
absolutely.
when we talk about journalism and how to keep journalism. I'm like, pay more at the start.
Pay
You'll
more.
get,
Oh, at the start. I
you'll
think I think
at
I
the
made
start.
like $15 an hour.
Yeah, it's it's
If
rough.
that.
It's rough. It's
I
rough. It's
loved
rough.
it. I was young. I was able to do it because I was young. And
Right.
my mom was like, I'm gonna support you. They paid my cable bill for crying out loud. They paid
Yeah.
my rent and my cable bill, so I could live
Wow.
out in the Bumblecrap, Pennsylvania. Thank God I was out in Bumblecrop, Pennsylvania, because otherwise I couldn't afford rent even back in the early aughts.
Well, you started in a small town, right? Like I started in a small town in Georgia, right? So we could go down that, path, but I just think it's a conversation where if you didn't have all of that, and let's say it's you and you're like, I really want to do this, you might think twice about entering the career field if you didn't have that help. And they would have lost a good reporter, a solid reporter who was hungry. And so at some point, the money conversation, but now it's even harder because like expenses are obviously going through the roof and there's less jobs, there's fewer jobs out there. And there's not as many people, I think, interested in the field in general, in a sense. They'll launch their own YouTube and
it's so thankless now. And it used to be like
it's thankless, yeah.
No one knew my face until they heard my name in the towns. They heard, oh, you're Seth. I read your stuff all the time. And it was always so awkward for me. Like, I was never on camera because I was a newspaper journalist. When they found out, like, I was at the laundromat, for crying out loud. I didn't have a laundry in my apartment, so I was at the laundromat. And I get to talking to people because that's just me.
Yeah.
And they say, oh, you're Seth. I read your stuff all the time. It made me feel so good.
Yeah. You're like, oh, somebody's reading this, right?
Someone actually reads my stuff. Now I have to make sure I spell things correctly. Oh, God. But so did you start off in journalism? Is that did you go to school for journalism and all that?
Yeah, I went for comms and then came out and got my first job and then did that path. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't regret any. I mean, as much as the burnout. I mean, I have PTSD left over from this job. I don't regret it one bit. I really don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I got flashbacks. Set my grill on fire the other day, and like literally, and I put it out, and but the smell of the smoke triggered me from structure fires, and I was like, oh,
from all those fires. Oh wow.
Yeah, but I don't regret it. It just was. It was. I enjoyed myself exactly. So all right, back to your entrepreneurial journey. So you like being the buck stopping with you and all that. What keeps you up at night as a journalist?
As a journalist or an entrepreneur?
As a journalist. I was still stuck on the journalism thing. As an entrepreneur, as you're owning your own business. I know what keeps you up as a journalist is making all this stuff. The editor calling you at 3 o'clock in the morning. That is what keeps you up.
Yeah. Well, money for sure sometimes. And then, you have sometimes, like I'm working on one thing, but I'm hoping something else comes through. Work-life balance. Sometimes when I have a pretty good work-life balance, but then sometimes I'm like, oh, I got to do better with the self-care because I think that's all connected. So, or my daughter keeps me up at night. So she's still young. So
my
she's
kid's
still young.
13.
Yeah.
And like he keeps me up at night just worrying about him because it's just like they're growing up in such a different world than we did.
No, I mean she literally keeps me up at night. I mean she's waking up.
Oh, she's waking up saying, "Mommy!" Oh, yeah. I just worry about my kid like, not getting in trouble.
Oh well, 13 is different. Yeah, 13 is different.
13.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I almost had my enemy. Of course, everyone. We all were there. We all give our parents that ride, all that stuff. So here's the question of the podcast: what is the most important thing to carry with you all the time?
Faith.
Love that.
Yeah, I think if you can carry faith, you can get through a lot. Probably anything. If you could carry, it may not go how you want. And I know that firsthand. We all do, but I think if you carry it with you, you'll have a little pep in your step.
Yeah, I love that. And having pep in your step always makes you get through the tough times.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that.
Yeah.
So where can people find you online? Where is the big spot that you hang? Obviously, I think LinkedIn.
Yeah. I'm on LinkedIn. I mean, we work with clients on beefing up their LinkedIn and getting visible and making sure their message is landing. So LinkedIn is definitely where you can find me. There's not that many Boftas out there, so I probably will pop up. And then, of course, storylead.com, and we spell it LEDE as it's on journalism.
Right way.
Yes, so storylead, STORYLEDE.com. And there, you can go to the contact us and go ahead and book a slot if you're interested in learning more about messaging and visibility and how to step out there with confidence and with your compelling story. And so a lot of what we do still stems from what I did as a journalist, helping discover stories.
The red
so
thread.
We're still in it. Yeah, that thread, exactly. So we're
I love it.
still working that, and there's so many other things that we do. We do everything, Seth, from websites A to Z, from the messaging all the way to the design. We're in the middle of one right now that's huge, a huge
Ooh.
project, like 35 pages. So a huge website,
That will
a
keep you
huge
up at
website.
night. That will keep
Yeah.
you up at night.
So thankfully I have a good team.
That's good.
But we also, help with decks and you're going to an event, you want your booth to stand out. So we really do
Ooh,
a wide spread of marketing and communications. So we're happy to
awesome.
be the fractional team behind entrepreneurs who are looking for that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on. This has been so much
Yeah,
fun. Can't believe how
thank you.
fast 19 minutes goes.
I know. I'm like, whoa,
You
we're
blink
done.
and it's
Okay.
over. It's like, what?
I know.
It's over.
I know. Get another cup of coffee. All right.
You
See you
know,
later.
be
Okay,
well, my
Seth. Thanks for
friend, and
having
we'll
me.
see you, everyone, next week.
Okay. Thanks.
That was a great show. If you're enjoying Entrepreneur's Enigma, please consider giving us a review in the podcast directory of your choice. Every review helps us reach new listeners. If you like Entrepreneur's Enigma, consider the other shows on the Marketing Podcast Network at marketingpodcast.net.